any of that sort of thing. So again, welcome. We're just delighted that you're here. Next slide. Wonderful. One of the things that we care deeply about is the land that we're standing on. I'm particularly proud of this land acknowledgement. This is something that the university created in conjunction with the Tataviam Band of Mission Indians. This was not something that the university did on its own. We were coming to the people whose land that we are standing on. CSUN recognizes and acknowledges the Sisevatam, the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of Sesivenga that is now occupied by our institution. And it honors their elders, past and present, and the Sisevatam descendants who are citizens of the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians. We recognize that the Sisevatam are still here, and we are committed to lifting up their stories, culture, and community. And to learn more about the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians, feel free to give them a call or please visit the websites that you see on your screen here. I'm particularly proud of our mission statement. It was a couple of years ago that our department spent some time recrafting our mission statement to really reflect who we are and what we do. This is something that you can find on our website, both our mission, our focus, and our goals. And we strongly encourage you to take some time to familiarize yourself with this statement because it speaks to who we are, what we do, and how we think. And it's important as you're looking at potential programs, MSW programs to enroll in, it's not just, do they want me? It's also, is this a good fit for me? Is this something that would work for me? So I think that's important. And I strongly encourage you to spend some time looking at our mission statement, specifically the anti-oppressive, socially just agents of change, the anti-racist, intersectional, trauma-informed perspective that we hold. Next slide, please. And in addition to that, as you are looking at programs, please make sure that whatever program you decide to look at is CSWE accredited. CSWE stands for the Council for Social Work Education. If the program that you go to is not accredited by CSWE, you are not able to sit for the licensure exam. So you definitely want to graduate from an accredited program. We are. Accreditation happens once every 8 years. Our last accreditation was in 2020. We're good until 2028, but it's something that we're always thinking about. And the biggest part of that are the 9 core competencies that speak to social work. CSWE decides what these competencies are, sends them out to all of the accredited programs, and there's something that we work by, and I was going to say live by, but it's something that we honor and imbue in our curriculum every single time that we possibly can. I'm going to turn it over to Darlene Wu.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Brown. Darlene Wu, she, her, hers. I'm actually one of the co-chairs of the admissions committee. I'm also the assistant director for field education for online and off-campus programs. And I'm also this semester currently teaching Social Work 521, which is macro practice. So you all came here this evening to learn more about our program and social work in general. So what does it mean? What is our program? Our program is considered an advanced generalist approach in social work. Social work, we provide services at all 3 levels of practice: micro, meso, macro, working with individuals, groups, families, communities, agencies, and large systems. It could be in non-traditional settings. As you can see from the slide, these are some of the potential roles as a social worker after you graduate with your MSW. These are some of the roles that you may play as a social worker in the community. And some of these are maybe non-traditional settings as well. Next slide. So, and this, like the MSW curriculum, this gives you the courses that you'll be taking. Foundation courses are your first year or the courses to complete. You have human behavior, you have those courses there. And then the concentration courses are on your right-hand side there. And so all program cohorts, whether you're online or campus-based, in order to complete our 60-unit MSW program, these are the courses that will be required. Next. So we'll talk about cohorts. So our MSW program is a cohort model. So our on-campus or stateside state support cohorts, there's a 2-year full-time cohort daytime program a 3-year part-time evening program on our campus base. And then we also have an off-campus program, self-support, which is our online 2-year program. So roughly, each year we have around 400 applicants across all cohorts, and we admit approximately 150 students each academic year. 150 students total across the cohorts. Okay, next slide. I think now I'll be passing over to Elise.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elise Navarro. I am the Admissions and Student Engagement Coordinator here in the MSW program for the stateside 2- and 3-year cohorts. So today I'll be going over with you a little bit of what you can expect in regards to the time that you'll be spending in the program. So for the on-campus 2-year program, you'll be taking a total of 20 classes totaling with 60 units over 4 semesters. So that'll be broken down into 15 units per semester. So for your first year, classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and your second year, classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You are required to complete field work while you're in the program. Your first year is 16 hours per week, and your second year is 20 hours per week. And these have to be completed during regular business hours, Monday through Friday, outside of your scheduled classes. For the on-campus 3-year program. Now, the on-campus 3-year program is also 20 classes totaling in 60 units. However, this is over 8 semesters, which is 9 units per semester, and you will be required to take summer classes. The class schedule for the 3-year on-campus program is Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that will remain the same throughout the duration of your program. And for your field work, you'll be taking 16 hours per week. That's for your first and second year. And that also is for Monday through Friday, regular business hours outside of your scheduled classes. I will pass it on to Gretchen.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Gretchen Serrano, she, her, hers. I'm the online offsite program coordinator. So I support students that are enrolled in our online program. The online 2-year program is offered through Sang College. It is a self-support program. So even though it is offered through Sang College, it's offered in partnership with the Department of Social Work. So we oversee all the academic aspects to the program. Similar to the on-campus program, it is the same 20 classes, 60 units, but of course our classes are online. The way that we offer our classes is we take the traditional 16-week semester and we actually split that in half. So students are taking asynchronous academic courses, meaning you can attend the live session, which is in the evenings, 1 evening a week for 90 minutes in length. Or you can watch the recorded session at your convenience. So you do have the flexibility either to attend the live session online or watch the recorded session, again, at your convenience. The exception to that is the field seminar courses. Those must be attended live, so it is not recorded due to the nature of the course. In addition to your academic courses, you also have the same field requirement as the on-campus, 16 hours per week in both years in the program. And again, this needs to be done in person during normal business hours, Monday through Friday. I've included the link here so you can learn more information specifically about the online program, and our tuition is included there as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so now that we've talked to you about the different cohort options that we're offering for fall of 2023, now it's important for you to know how to apply. There are 2 separate application processes, so it's really important that you do your due diligence and research to kind of look into see which program is the best fit for you. If you are interested in the on-campus program, I'll talk about the process for that. It is 2 separate applications that you need to do. You need to apply to the university and submit a Cal State Apply application. And then you also have to do a supplemental application, which is the department application. If you have decided that the online program is better suited for you, then you'll want to complete the one application through Sang College. It's very important to note, you may not apply to both. It really messes up the system. They will reach out to you. They will only want you, admissions and records will only want you to have one live application on file. So we want you to do the research, ask as many questions as you need before the application deadline, and then submit the application that best suits you. Okay, so for those that are interested in our 2-year or 3-year on-campus programs, again, you have the department application, the supplemental application, which is available on our website. And this is where you will include your letters of recommendation, your personal statement. All of this will be uploaded electronically into the application. And then the second piece that you'll need to do is the university application, which is the Cal State Apply. This is just a mechanism to let admissions and records know when they start to receive your official transcripts that you're applying to the MSW program. And then if you are interested in the online program, it's only one application. It's available through Sang College. There's the link right there. And again, as I mentioned before, please do not submit a Cal State Apply application if your intention is to apply for the online program. You only need to do one.
Hello again, everybody. So I'm going to go over a few more of the requirements that we have here in the MSW program. So as we mentioned, if you are interested in applying to the on-campus 2- or 3-year cohort programs, you do have to first apply to CSUN. The university requirements are that you have to have a bachelorette degree from an accredited university prior to fall of 2023, and you have to have a cumulative GPA of 2.5 or higher. And you have to be in good standing of the last institution that you attended. Oops, excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay. And also, it's very important to note that when you do apply, you will be assigned a csun.edu email. And we will only be contacting you via that email. So make sure that you activate it once you get whatever notification from CSUN, because we will not be contacting you any other way. Transcripts. So when you apply to CSUN first, you do have to upload your official transcript from your previous university. If you are currently a CSUN student or a CSUN alum, you do not have to do that because the school already has your transcript. However, when you apply to the department, the MSW application, we ask that you please upload an unofficial copy of your transcript. And we have the information below of where you can have your transcripts sent if you are not a current or alum of CSUN. Recommendation letters. So recommendation letters are part of your department application. It is required that you submit 3. You need to supply us with 2 academic and 1 professional letter of recommendation. If you graduated over 5 years ago and you've been working for some time, you can provide us with 3 professional letters of recommendation. And all of the requirements are listed here. So you also have to submit a work experience summary for your department application. You should think of it as submitting an resume for a job. The only difference is we are requiring that you include how many hours you spent at each job. This is really important as part of the application process. We should be able to easily see the total numbers that you spent at each job or activity. There's an example on the screen of how you should have it listed on your work experience summary or resume. And the supplemental questions, again, are another part of the department application. It needs to be 5 pages total, double spaced, 12-point font and Times New Roman, 1-inch margins. And what we're really looking for in this portion of your application is that you're following the directions that we have set in place. You should have the question listed and a clear answer. So this is really a chance for you to really express yourself, really allow us to get to know you and why you want to be part of our program. If you are an international applicant, you will have to contact the International Admissions Department if you have any questions, or if you did not receive your bachelor's degree from a US school. And this is very important, very important. The deadlines to have your application submitted for both on campus and online is January 10th, no later. And as you can see that you'll be hearing from our department on or before May 15th of 2023. And again, we will only be contacting you via your CSUN email. So if you're wondering why you haven't heard anything or you need an update, make sure that you have in fact checked that email or activated it. Great. I'm going to pass it back on to Darlene.
Great. Thank you, Elise. So I'm going to take this opportunity to go over the field education, give you an overview of the requirements that was mentioned earlier. Next slide, please. So as mentioned earlier, so first year internship is 16 hours per week during regular business hours. And we, CSUN, Social Work Department, matches you to an agency your first year. We identify an agency that we think is best for your learning opportunities, and we will place you within a 1-hour distance from your address. We are connected with agencies all over Southern California, and for our online students, wherever you are at, I will find you a placement within a 1-hour radius to your residence. During the second year placement internship, for our on-campus 2-year full-time cohort only, we require 20 hours per week, a total of 600 hours during your second year. All other cohorts in your second year, if you're in the 3-year part-time evening program or the online cohort, it's 16 hours per week, a minimum of 500 hours, both during your first and second year. And then and with the second year placement process, we do it in taking consideration as an interview process. All students will be able to interview with 3 agencies, and then the agencies will also give us feedback on their preferences, rank order, who they find acceptable. And then we do a Match.com-esque type of process where we will try to match each student to their first or second choice of placement where they've interviewed to their second year placement. Again, these are some of the logos of some of the agencies that we work with in Southern California. Ventura Behavioral Health Center, Los Angeles Unified School District. We have other school districts, Jewish Family Services, LA County Department of Mental Health, LA County Department of Children and Family Services, Children's Hospital, and various medical community-based organizations. Okay, next slide. So for this coming, for currently and for the coming fall 2023, these are field models. Like how do we are approved to have our students to complete their internship in what we call traditional, hybrid, or full remote models. So traditional is the face-to-face on-site at the agency following COVID protocol to ensure your safety, the community safety, is in person at the agency providing services. The hybrid model places a student in a sanitized environment at the agency to deliver services remotely. So you could be on site at the agency, but interacting with the clients via Zoom, telephone, telehealth, phone call in the office. And then full remote, this allows students to provide services to clients remotely from your location, your physical space. So everything's conducted via Zoom, telehealth, or phone. And just to be transparent, most agencies now are all in person and requiring COVID vaccination and booster shots. So kind of keep that in mind as well. If there's a requirement that you may have, if you're accepted into the program, please let us know and we will try to make those accommodations, or we will make those accommodations as best as we can. Next. So field placement. So these may be a couple of frequently asked questions, but things to consider while you're completing your application process. Again, some question may be, do I select my own internship site? Not for your first year. As I mentioned before, first year internships, the social work department will identify an internship for you within 1 hour of your home. Can I find an internship on my own? No, it is strictly prohibited for students to make your own contact with an internship site. Because we have a lot of relationships already and agreements already established, please do not reach out to find your own internship. If you have ideas of possible places, you can let us know, but please do not reach out to agencies. Can I intern in the evenings or during the weekends? Unfortunately not. As we mentioned in the previous slides, we have internships during regular business hours, Monday through Friday. Most agencies are only, have field instructors who are available Monday through Friday between 8 and 6. There are rare instances when agencies might be able to offer evenings and weekends, but we cannot guarantee that, as that may change year to year. And it may also depend on the location of the agency and where you are. Could be over 1 hour. So we cannot guarantee that. What are the costs associated with internships? It may have there may be some associated costs with internships. Expenses may include, but not limited to, the agencies requiring live scan background checks, health screenings, parking, mileage. Your internship may be field-based, where you're driving from doing home visits or site to site. The agency may require additional training. What else? Dress codes. Any other costs covered by you as a student that may not be reimbursed by the agency. Some agencies might offer reimbursements, but some may not. So it really depends on each agency setting and situation. What are the expectations of students at their internship? We expect that the students will be professional, punctual, reliable, communicative, and responsible at their internships. This is an opportunity for students to practice application of their knowledge and skills to real social work settings and clients. It just asks all of our students to embrace the student learner role. The purpose of the internship is for you to practice and to develop social work skill sets. We are not expecting everyone to know how to be a social worker on day one. This is your journey. This is the practice. Next slide, please. Oh, and I'll just turn this over to Professor Julie Gould.
Hello, everybody. How are you? We are very excited to see you. And my task, I didn't even introduce myself, did I? So sorry. My name is Julie Gould. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am the CalSWC project coordinator. So I oversee the CalSWC program for us at CSUN. And I also teach and am the lead instructor for our trauma class and our class that is related to utilization of the DSM. So that's a little bit about who I am, but I'm here. My first thing I'm going to do is just talk to you a little bit about our mentioned stipends. So oftentimes students are very interested in learning about what are the opportunities to get a stipend, which might help pay for your education. So here's the first thing I'm going to say. I've been told I'm a little scary when I say it. Stipends are not a way to fund your education. Stipends serve a purpose, which is as a tool to help bring students into particular parts of social work practice. And many of our stipends have a work back requirement, meaning while you are a student, if you receive a stipend, you receive those funds while you're in school. But when you graduate, there is an employment obligation that you seek employment in a specific field and you stay in that work for a specific amount of time. So while the money can sound great on the front end, there's a piece attached after you graduate. The only stipend we have that students are eligible to apply for as first year incoming students is the CalSWIC stipend, which is focusing on Title IV-E, which is public child welfare. So that would be working around issues of child abuse and neglect. We have a program for students in our 2-year on-campus cohort. Those are folks that are not already currently working in public child welfare. And we have a program in a CalSWIC program in our 3-year on-campus program, and that is only open to folks that are current public child welfare employees. So those are not CSUN's rules, those are CalSWIC's rules, but that's a little bit about that program. For all of our stipends, or for this stipend, because it's the only one that you're eligible to apply for as a first-year student, you must be admitted to the MSW program before you will even receive an application. Okay. Some schools do it differently. You can apply both simultaneously to the MSW program and the CalSWIC program. At CSUN, we only offer that application once students are admitted into the MSW program. When you become a second-year student, there are a couple of other stipends that you may be eligible to apply for. There is another public child welfare stipend that is available to students that is LA County specific. There's also we have had in the past a stipend program with LA County Department of Mental Health that right now has been on hold the last 2 years because of funding issues. We are hoping it's returning again this year, but that's all based on what LA County Department of Mental Health has in terms of funding. And then we also have a stipend program that focuses on working with an older adult or gerontology population. That's called the GSWIC stipend. And for all of the second year stipend programs, you will get an opportunity to learn about them as you enter the second year field placement program. So just know that that's all coming. Okay, can we advance this slide? Thank you. So I'm going to tell you just a little bit about some of the ways that you can get involved as a student in our MSW program. So the first thing is that we do have a social work society that is a student-run organization for the MSW program. And that is called SWS. And we thought we were going to have someone from SWS here with us tonight. They got caught up at their internship. And so they're not here with us, but we do have all of the positions that you see on the screen. So every cohort has a representative, and then there is also an executive boards. And any student that is in our MSW program has the ability to run for an SWS position. Can we advance it? Thank you. So these are some other clubs and organizations that are run through the MSW program, and students may be involved in as many as they like, and we really encourage you to. So just a couple of them are up here on the screen. I do want to say to you that we really encourage students to think about, what do you want to get out of being an MSW student? The more you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. So these are some of our the student clubs. You will have opportunity once you're admitted to learn more and more about them and participate. All of these are clubs that you can kind of come in and out of and get a chance to learn a little bit about what is being offered. Lobby Days is another opportunity for students to become involved. Lobby Days is a statewide event that is run through NASW, which is the National Association of Social Workers, which is our national professional organization. And there will be an opportunity, it'll be both a in-person and hybrid event where students have an opportunity to participate in lobbying actual state legislature representatives around certain bills that NASW identifies that they want to support. So that's something that happens every spring. Can we advance? Thank you. So this is actually what you're all probably thinking about. This is just a little collage of past graduations that we've had. In the MSW program, we have been incredibly fortunate that we actually have our own ceremony, which is referred to as a hooding ceremony. As you can see in the pictures, you see that folks are wearing not just a cap and gown, but they're also wearing this sort of like cape thing. That's actually called a hood. And in this ceremony, which is just for the MSW program, this is actually where we literally hood you, provide you your hood and place it on you. And this is really the culmination of your 2 or 3 years in the MSW program. It's a really wonderful event. It's very personable, and it's just, this is where all your hard work kind of comes to fruition. So these are some smiling faces of both faculty and students from previous graduations. So a couple of the things we want to tell you a little bit about. There are additional information sessions that are happening that may be of interest to you, even though you came tonight and you got a really quick overview of some information about our program. There are 2 other dates we want to just mention that you may be interested in attending. In November, there is going to be another info session just like this, but it's going to specifically focus on the field placement or field education portion of the MSW program, very much like what Darlene talked about, only we'll have an opportunity to go a little bit more in depth. And that will be on November 14th. And then in December, we will have another session like this, but it will really specifically be focused on frequently asked questions. Before we end tonight, because we did do a really speedy job of getting through tonight, we thought what we would do is actually, we'll stop, just not yet, in 1 second. Elise, we're going to actually stop the recording and we'll actually take some of your questions right now. So we kind of did a speed version of this, and which leaves us some time to take some questions from you all. So before we get into the questions, what I do want to just mention is that if you have more questions, which I'm sure you do, we want to encourage you to reach out to Elise. And you can see her email there, and she will be available to answer any questions that you might have about the on-campus programs. And Gretchen Serrano will be taking all of your questions about our online programs. So that is the best way to get some of those questions asked between after tonight and before the December frequently asked questions info session.